leaders and the G20 summit in Turkey to step up and commit to destroying ISIS. So will those countries or the United Nations answer the president's call? Former U.S. spokesperson to the United Nations, Ric Grenell, goes on the record. Rick, I know you followed these speeches very closely. What was your reaction to seeing the president at the G20 today?
Look, I think he was trying to fight a domestic political battle in front of the world, and it's not going to go over well. What the world wanted to see was leadership from the United States. The UN doesn't work or NATO doesn't work unless the United States has a plan and puts it forward and then tries to get others to go along or maybe adjust the plan accordingly. But we have to start with U.S. leadership. And I think what we saw today is that the U.S. leader, Barack Obama, was more interested in fighting his political battles back home rather than try to lead the world at this important time.
So you were the spokesperson at the United Nations for many years and for the United States. And I'm curious of what you think about it seems like it's been very quiet over at Turtle Bay, and I wonder what you think that the United Nations either could be doing or can they do anything at this point to try to help the situation?
Look, one of the first things that should have been done is call an emergency UN Security Council meeting. You could easily have had that done by Samantha Power. She didn't do that. I would have, if I was the ambassador, immediately called the ambassadors in. Send the message to the world that you're united. Put a resolution down saying that this will not go unanswered and that we are unified. You have to do something. You have to have a plan. And we've been caught flat-footed. I'm also hearing, Dana, that where in NATO, where we are supposed to be leading our NATO allies, that we don't have a plan either, that the French and the British are leaving the United States out both at NATO and at the UN, and they are the ones who are putting the plan together because they've been so frustrated that the United States just is not the leader that it usually is. When a crisis happens around the world, what usually happens is that the U.S. ambassador or the U.S. representative at these entities calls the meeting and brings all of the ideas together and puts forward the plan. And when you don't have that leadership, then you have the situation where the UN is broken and NATO is broken, and we just don't have a plan for the world.
Meanwhile, there was a Democratic debate on Saturday night, and we don't have time for the soundbite, but I want to get your take on it because foreign policy became the focal point of the debate. The three Democratic candidates shied away from using the term radical Islamic terrorism. Do you think they're trying to downplay the threat to make us feel better?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is get votes. They're trying to make sure that Muslim Americans or really far left voters hear that they're more compassionate and that they're not blaming this on Islam, which is ridiculous because both you and I worked in the Bush administration and we went out of our way to make sure that we bifurcated Islam from radical Islam. There was never an intention to place this on Islam. And matter of fact, most of my Muslim friends are outraged that this is happening. And so saying Islamic radical, I think, is a better term. And in many ways, it sends the message that it's not Islam or the Muslims' fault. It is the radical ones that are doing this.
I agree. I think it actually helps Muslims and Islam if we call it for what it is. Rick, thank you so much.